Two. Go ahead, Frank, you lead off. Welcome to our next podcast. We have a special guest today. I want to remind everybody next Saturday, we're actually going to be at Capri's Pizza in Northfield. Okay, free pretzels, water ice, and a slice of pizza. Bring your kids down and meet the contractor day. Hey, Jim.
Oh yeah. Hello everybody. We're coming to you from the world famous Capri restaurant in Northfield. As Frank just said, next Saturday, come on out. We're gonna have free water ice pretzels and a free slice of pizza from 11 to 2. You guys are welcome. Come on in. Rocco would love to see all you guys. And today we have a special guest. We're gonna touch on a lot of things today as far as construction. We have a guest today. His name is Pablo, and he's been doing plumbing for me for over 20 years. And I'd like to introduce Pablo from PLS. And Pablo, here you go, buddy.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me in. What would you like me to say besides that?
Yeah. Today.
Sure.
We every week we want to touch on a different phase of construction. This week we're touching on plumbing. So plumbing is one of the biggest problems that could happen to your home for a new build or for just regular residential work. The biggest question that I always get is, I have a leak. I don't know how to shut my water off. Pablo.
Well, any homeowner, new, old, you should always know where your water shutoff is in your property. Most of the time, there's one located in the older homes in a crawl space, but in these newer homes, the contractors are being smart about installing it in a place where the homeowner has easy access to it, and they know where it is and they can access it quickly. They don't put it behind a water heater. They don't put it behind obstructions where they can't get to it in case of an emergency. You also have what's called the ManaBlock system, which looks like a panel box, like the electrical panel box, and has valves which are individually connected to each fixture. So you go to this box and they should be marked where it has, it'll say lab sink, first floor, and all you have to do is hit that valve and turn that valve, and you can shut that off. So they have those available these days now too. But most of the time, your shut-off valve is in either the crawl space or in the utility room where the water heater is, or it depends on whether you have a condo situation. You have it right over the water heater. There's a lot of variables with this, but find out where it is. So in case you have that emergency, you can shut it right down. And if not, call one of us, call a plumber, and then we have to shut it off at the street. Or in some townships, you have to call the water company for them to do it.
But Pablo, in the house, shouldn't it be marked?
It should. It should be, but in the past years, it wasn't something that was practiced. So, and I'm talking about the last 30, 40 years. I've been into a lot of homes. I have to find it for them. They don't know where it is. Sometimes, we have to look if they have a crawl space or a basement. Also, I forgot if you have a basement, it's usually the water, water's coming into the basement, and there's somewhere where there's going to be an access panel, or if you have an unfinished basement, it might be right there where you can see it. A shutoff valve is pretty easy to spot. It has a lever handle, or the old balloon valves have a gate handle.
So basically, what you guys really should do is try to locate your shutoff valve before you have a leak. Absolutely. And mark it. If you can't find it, then you should call a plumber and have them come out and mark it, because at some point you're going to have a leak somewhere. Something's going to blow, something's going to pop, and you're going to need to shut that off. And that's the difference of not being able to shut the water off until a plumber gets out there, where you're going to have a major flood and a lot of damage, versus if you knew right where it's at, you could go shut it off and shut it down, and you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. What do you think?
Yeah.
Paolo? Yeah,
that's absolutely true.
So that's basically what you guys really should do. If you don't and you can't locate it, then you need to get a plumber out there to locate it, show you where it's at.
Absolutely.
That's number one for
Absolutely.
plumbing. Um, no,
I actually have a question.
yeah, Frank. Go ahead.
So I do a lot of work for assured houses down the shore. And I guess my question to you would be, is it smart if you're not going to be there for a couple months to turn your water off?
Are we talking the winter or summer months?
Like in the winter,
In the winter months.
does it actually,
yeah. I mean, if there's winterizing is always a good idea if someone's not going to be at the property for a while, especially in the winter months. It's all based on if you're going to maintain the heat. If you're going to maintain the heat and you think you're going to come back, in a couple weeks, leave it on.
Okay.
But if you're going to be away for 2 months or more, yeah, I would winterize. And once again, it's all based on whether you have heat in the areas that you have plumbing. So if you have a well sealed crawl space and you don't have any issues, this past year was unusual with the freezing. This past year, I myself was on vacation. Came back from vacation. I lived here in Pleasantville, and I had no water. My water was frozen. It just so happens that last year the water company went ahead and gave me a new water main, and it looks like they raised the meter. So raising the meter in the meter pit exposes it to more cold air. And because of the temperatures we had this year,
right?
Pablo came home to no water after a week of vacation. It took the water company came out and they had to thaw it out. Even though I probably could have touched it myself, I pay the bill, so I might as well have them come and do it.
So, Pablo, that brings me to a question. If the consumer winterizes the property down here, especially along the shore,
Yes.
they don't have to worry about. They could shut the heater off. They don't need no heat in the house or nothing.
If it's done properly,
it's
right?
done properly.
Yes, if it's done properly, right.
But if you guys don't winterize it, what's the lowest temperature they should keep their thermostat?
I like 50, 55,
55?
yeah, 55 degrees.
Where the pipes won't break?
It's not guaranteed. Once again, it all depends on
But what temperature?
exposure to cold air.
What temperature should they keep for them? Not for the pipes, not to freeze. Now you got to keep in mind the pipes might be down in the crawl space.
Exactly.
And if the heater's down there, it's going to throw some heat off. So you could probably keep it a little lower. The thermostat. But if there's no heater down there and there's pipe in the crawl space, they got to keep the temperature around 65.
Well,
I would think.
once again, it all depends on the structure itself.
Right.
It depends on where that piping is. It depends on whether you have exposure to the cold air. It depends on the temperature.
And then
outside
also,
temperature. There's a lot of factors.
This brings us to another point. If you have copper in the house or you have PEX, now explain the difference between copper and PEX in the winter months.
Well, two obvious things are that in the winter months, if the PEX freezes, it expands where copper cannot do that. Easier to repair for the PEX, cheaper to repair. Copper is a lot way more difficult to fix in the situation where you may have a split. And usually, when you have one split, you don't have just one split in copper. You have multiple sometimes.
splits.
Yeah. So you fix one and then you find another one. You fix one
And copper is through the roof right now, isn't it?
Yeah. All metals
right.
are metals are through
Metals,
the
right.
roof. So
Well, Frank, PEX is cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Right.
I actually have one more question for you that I was just thinking about because I know that we had this problem at my house is that, and I guess we can try to help out the consumers out there is where if our bill is so high out of nowheres, okay, where would be the obvious places we want to look first?
What, the electric bill?
No,
it's water bill.
Water bill.
We're
Water bill.
still talking about plumbing, Jimmy.
Right.
That's next week.
They got lost for a second there.
That's next week.
The first thing I would check is to see if you got a toilet running. That is one of the most common things that happen, and people they really don't pay attention to it.
And that could be a simple thing.
That's a very
That
simple
could be
thing.
the float
Yes.
in the
Yes.
reservoir.
Yes, I don't want to make the people out there seem like they can do it themselves. If you want to try, go at it. But I would say call a professional so you can guarantee that it gets done right.
Right.
But toilet flappers and toilet mechanisms, ball cock and stuff like that, they go bad all the time over years. Toilets aren't made like they were years ago, where they lasted 30 years and you had no issues. Nowadays, toilets are $150 at Home Depot. People slap them in, and they last maybe 2 or 3 years.
In your professional opinion, what toilets do you like better, American Standard or Colward? What do you like better?
You know what? You just mentioned the main one that I install is American Standard.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Wow.
American Standard.
I usually have the least issues with those
Yeah.
types of toilets. I don't know. You get paid to talk about American
No,
Standard?
No.
He's sponsoring.
Why you asking that particular question?
No.
American Standard, you want to send a check? We'll take it.
I just know what I don't get no callbacks on. I don't get any callbacks from American Standard. I used to use Colward.
Okay.
And then Colward, I don't know if they changed management or
Well,
what.
they're still one of the top companies as well out there with their fixtures. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I favor American Standard first of all because of the mechanisms. I like their mechanisms. They're a little bit different, not much, but there's also custom different toilets.
Right.
Tanks are different. So Kohler gets more into that tricky stuff where American Standard is pretty simple.
Now, Pablo, I wanted to ask you, being that you've been doing my plumbing now for over 20 years, and we do a lot of new build. Being Pablo, POS, and he does also any residential that that we might have. What is your professional opinion on? Do you like doing new build or do you like doing rehab?
Rehab build, you have to keep in mind, is a house that's already been built and in place for years.
Right.
There's very limited movements you can do when you're installing new pipe or redoing the plumbing. The house is already built. In the new construction, the architectural plans take into consideration the plumbing that has to be done, and in most cases, they set up the walls to the right size and the right location so that you can install the plumbing easily. In the rehab construction, the house is built. You got to go with what's there.
So basically, you have to ad lib.
You have to ad lib. Yeah, you have to improvise a lot
And then you have to
and
really
adjust a
consult
lot.
with the
Yes,
inspector.
yes, and then you have to be careful because in the older homes, if a beam is cut, that shouldn't be cut. One of your guys cuts a beam that should be cut to put a pipe in there. Now that whole area has to be reinforced because he killed the integrity of the flooring or the ceiling or whatever. So you have to take all those things into consideration.
Right.
Whereas in new construction, the architect already did.
Already did it, right? Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, I like the new construction. For me, it's easier because I looked at the plans and I know where I got to go.
So, but basically, when you're doing rehab, you're just running it and then waiting to hear from the inspector.
Well, I mean, you have the
You
knowledge.
got an idea.
Yeah, you have the knowledge to know that you shouldn't be cutting this
Right.
beam to run a pipe through it. One of the things that people forget about plumbing is that, with the exception of PEX now, because that's flexible, waste lines, sewer lines, they're not flexible, that piping. So you're kind of like stuck in the way you got to run it. Sometimes I got to ask for a soffit because I can't drill through 10 beams to get a 3-inch ABS pipe from one side to the other.
Being you brought up drain lines, what's the most common thing that gets stuck in a drain line? Because there's always a lot of clogs. People throw something down.
Actually, there's two things that come to mind: feminine products and waste wipes.
Wipes.
That are not flushable.
Right.
Now, and I want to give a shout out to Chucky Barrett from Barron Plumbing. He's a good friend of mine. You know Chucky too? So he's a local guy. We work together a lot, and he does a lot of videos on that. He did a video on dissolving what dissolves in water.
Oh,
The
wow.
wipes, yeah. So he actually took out a feminine product. He put it. Did it? Oh, it's okay. So he did a test on what dissipates best in water, and it's pretty interesting. But anyway, moving on. Believe it or not, garbage disposals that people have in their homes.
Right.
You know how many times I've been called that a kitchen sink does not drain, and come to find out, the 2-inch drain line going to the main is clogged solid with rice and pasta
Wow.
Wow.
because it expands.
And how do you get that unclogged?
You gotta cut
Yes.
that pipe out.
You gotta cut the pipe
If,
out,
if it's bad enough, yeah.
and you gotta put a snake down.
I had one that was solid for about 4 or 5 feet.
Wow.
And
then-
oil, right? You put oil down there.
Listen, yeah,
How'd you get it unclogged?
we cut it out. We had to cut that section of pipe
The
out.
whole section?
The whole section of pipe
Even if
out.
you ran the snake down it, you
Yeah.
couldn't get it.
Sometimes you can't get it. It's that hard. It builds
Wow.
up over,
Wow.
just like cholesterol in the human's veins. It builds up.
Wow.
And it's scary, man.
That's
'cause,
scary.
yeah. It, and then it goes into the main drain line and it could cause a problem down the road even further. But those are the main two things. People that have garbage disposals in kitchens and they have too much trust
Now,
in what they put down.
what's the
drain.
percentage that you would say is from copper water lines to PEX on which one breaks faster or lasts longer?
Wow. No, PEX definitely lasts longer.
Longer, right?
You know,
And the
the
copper,
copper, sure, it
Yes.
lasts a long time, but when you run, for instance, hot water
right?
through copper lines, or you have hard water,
Right.
if you have hard water, it disintegrates the pipe a little bit and thins it out, and then you'll start to get pinholes with the
Right,
the
right.
hot temperature water. So I would go with the PEX for long term. I did 24 condominiums in Atlantic City, probably now, which is 2026, maybe 20 years ago in PEX.
Still going.
Not an issue.
Now,
Yeah.
did you use the PEX that we're using today, or did you use the old PEX,
No, the PEX we're using today.
the blue red?
Yeah, the blue and red.
Okay. See, that's very good knowledge for you customers out there, for you consumers. You want to see whoever's going to install your PEX, they're installing blue and red PEX. If it's gray, you don't want that. It's
Well, it's funny.
outdated.
It's funny you say that. That came to mind just now. If I may interrupt you for a second, the gray one's called Quest
Quest,
PEX,
right?
and that one's been outlawed.
Outlaw,
Yeah, and there's still a lot of buildings that have it.
right, right.
And you got that in your building or your house or your property, get that out
Get it out.
because you're just asking for
Hey,
issues,
Pablo,
especially if you have common walls.
What's when you're doing PEX, when you're installing PEX, the number one thing that for it to be done correctly is when you're crimping it, right? You know, when you're using the tool and you got to crimp it.
Right. Well,
If that's not done right,
if that's not done right, yeah, you're gonna have a leak, but that'll show up right away.
that's up
Yeah.
there.
So you should yeah, the installer definitely has to know what he's doing with that. And the other thing is when you're drilling through beams or joists, wall studs, the hole has to be about 25% larger than the pipe that's going through it for expansion.
For expansion. If that's not, it won't pass, right? Inspector won't pass.
Nope.
Right. So basically, the inspector knows exactly, all this stuff has to be inspected. So, but the way to go is with PEX because you're gonna get less leaks. You know, in the cold, it'll contract. In the sun, expand, and then in the summer it'll contract, and you won't have less chance of a leak that versus if you got copper water lines throughout your house. Frank, I know you had another question. What did you want to ask Pablo?
So if somebody decides they wanted to move, redo their bathroom, for
Yeah.
example, okay, how hard is it to move if you want to put the shower on the other side of the room? And what does it entail to do as far as your piping in?
Moving all the border lines and
Yeah.
stuff?
Well, without giving me, my secrets away, you basically just have to open up the floors and the walls so you have access to the piping.
Right.
And then you can basically do whatever you want within reason if it's in the same footprint that that's existing now. So if you're only going a couple feet different, that's not
Okay.
a big deal,
Now, Pablo, I got a question for you, real quick. Not to interrupt you, but it's on the same lines. What I see a lot of times is contractors start a job, they'll do a job for a customer, like a shower, for example, and they'll do the plumbing themselves, and they won't call for an inspection. Now, tell the consumer that's not a good thing, right? When
Not
they
at
do
all.
that.
Not at all. Because if something goes wrong and you want to have an insurance claim, the first thing they're going to ask you is, did the licensed individual do the repairs or the
Right.
changes?
Exactly.
And if it wasn't a licensed individual and there is no paperwork telling that, you're in trouble. The
And-
insurance company will not cover you if there is a leak that could damage thousands of dollars of worth of wall fixtures or sheetrock, flooring, which is
And-
expensive.
And will this come up if you decide to go that route and you go and sell your house
Yes,
and okay, will that come up to bite you?
it could.
It could.
It absolutely
It could.
could, because first of all, there's home inspections. So those guys are pretty. If you get a good company, they're going to check.
Yeah, that's right.
They're going to check all that paperwork. If there's any open permits on the property or changes and there weren't any permits, they're going to find out. So guess what? You're going to have to give them some money at the table or
So
get it
It's
repaired.
just better to do it the right way.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
As a consumer, you always want to protect yourself. So if somebody is doing a bathroom for you, you always want to make sure that if there, any plumbing work is being moved or added to, you want to make sure you have a licensed plumber doing the work, not just the guy who's doing your shower stall, because it's very important. Like especially, no matter where they put it, if they don't do it right, for a custom shower, that they're supposed to have the Corloid, which is the rubber, put in. And it's got to be 12 inches up, going around all around the base of the floor of the shower stall, and then you're supposed to put a self leveler pan in there, and then before you pour your concrete, your mortar, okay, to get the right pitch so the water drains. Then before they even close that up and start tiling, you got to do what's called a water test, right, Pablo?
Yes. Yes.
Now explain to the homeowners what a water test.
Well, you basically just cap the drain line and you fill the pan with about 2 to 3 inches of water up to the plate, or the what's it called, the
skirt.
the
The skirt.
skirt,
The
yes,
skirt.
yeah, the skirt area.
Skirt of the shower
So
stall.
then the inspector will visibly see that it's holding, and then you can pull the plug, and if it drains quickly and the way it's supposed to drain, it'll pass. If it doesn't, we got an issue.
See, that's very important because concrete is porous. So if the Corloid is not put in correctly, or if they didn't put in a self-leveler pin, so if they don't put the self-leveler pin in, they just put the Corloid, which is the rubber, and then they install the mortar, and they give it a nice taper towards the drain, eighth of an inch off the wall towards the drain, so you have a nice pitch. When you do the water test and you fill it up all with water, water is going to go right through the concrete. So if that Corloid, which is the rubber, is not put in correctly, you're going to have a leak. So that's why it's very important you get a pressure test. A water test. You have to have a water test. And if they don't do the water test, 9 out of 10 times, somewhere along the line, you're going to have a leak. And if it's upstairs, it's going to be downstairs. Even if it's downstairs, you're still going to have a leak and, go into your crawl space, your basement, and you're going to have, problems with mold. If it's in the right atmosphere where there's no light, there's no air, and it's an obscure area, you're going to have problems with mold. So it's very important that, if you're doing a shower, you need to get a licensed plumber. Make sure the guy, whoever's doing the work, gets a licensed plumber.
But I'd be amiss to not mention that there's other options too. There's something called the Schluter system now,
Right.
which is basic panels that are already pre-pitched panels that you put in place along with vinyl, and that works out really well. Has a sealer around it that you use, and also a basic, if you're doing a rehab or a new construction, a basic, if it's framed right, fiberglass pan.
Fiberglass pan.
Very, very easily and trouble free.
Right.
And
Those thing is with the fiberglass pan, the pluses versus the minuses. The fiberglass pan is not going to last as long as a regular wet bed with tile. The regular wet bed with tile is going to last you, if it's done correctly, that'll last you, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But a fiberglass pan only probably gets you what, 10, 15 years?
You can get more out of that.
Can you?
Yeah, sure,
All right.
sure. If you buy a quality one,
Right.
There's different qualities, of
Well,
course, too. That's another thing.
Well, that's another thing.
And
As a homeowner, as a consumer, they're not going to know the difference of the grade of the fiberglass.
right. Well, if they hire a reputable, plumber, and it all depends too. Vinyl and tile shower bases are mostly custom jobs. So usually when somebody's doing that, they know what they're doing, and that's the size you can build the size. You can build a 6 foot, 8 foot shower.
Yeah.
but you can't get a fiberglass pan that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
that's why I like to we do all custom showers.
yeah, custom
I
showers.
like the wet bed because, Frank, when you do the wet bed, you have flexibility.
Yeah.
You can make it whatever the customer wants. 48 by 48, 48 by 60,
Right,
60 by
right.
60, 54 by 80, whatever they want. They might want, a two-person shower where one shower, one person can take a shower and the other one, move over, or vice versa. We do a rainbow shower coming down from the ceiling. That's very popular. It's, a Mediterranean shower.
And if
which
the
we
two
do.
persons are as big as me and Jimmy,
Yeah,
then that's got to be like a
Yeah.
7 or 8 foot
that's,
shower.
yeah, it's got to be pretty big.
That's
yeah.
a little bit more expensive.
That's got to be pretty
So I
big.
want to add this on there as far as getting the right spot for plumbing or whatever else we do in the contractor business. And the one thing I will say that because I do a lot of, since we started the podcast, I'm on social media a lot, and I came across somebody on Facebook they were looking for a handyman. Okay, well, that's great for handyman stuff, but I think that they're asking for a plumber, a handyman.
Mm.
Okay, and this was 2 days ago, and that's kind of scary.
It is scary.
Okay,
It is scary. I see that a lot. Somebody calls me up and says, "Oh, I had a guy come in here and did this, this, and this, and it didn't come out right. It's leaking." I said, "Yeah, what did he do?" And then they explained to me what he did, and I'm like, "This guy wasn't qualified to do that." I don't know who it was,
Right.
and I don't care. Now you're dealing with me, and we're gonna get it done right. And now you paid that guy, and now you're gonna pay me too. That's
I just see a lot
not
of
smart.
I see a lot of that now,
Yeah, it's not
where
smart.
I understand everybody's on budget.
Sure, everybody's trying to save a buck.
But there's certain things that you just can't cut corners on,
Exactly.
and that wouldn't be one for me.
Yeah. Don't cut corners on plumbing. Don't cut corners on electric. Don't cut corners on anything that could damage your house, your home, or even hurt
I mean, if
someone.
you want to paint your own room, go ahead.
That's different. That's different. But if you want it done nice, call this guy.
Frank's the man when it comes to paint. Pablo, I wanted to ask you, which I hear often in the field from the consumer. Everybody, basically, a lot of customers always ask me, what's the difference between a 40-gallon, say Bradford White tank water heater versus a tankless water heater?
Well, the first thing is that one's on demand, and the other,
Explain
the
that.
tank stores water and it cycles to keep that water at 120 degrees or whatever it's set.
So in other words, what you're saying is every so often the gas kicks on, the electric kicks on,
Yes.
versus the tankless.
The tankless, it's on demand. It stands by, and it's way more efficient because it does that. You're not burning gas constantly to keep that tank water.
So you're actually saving money
Oh, absolutely.
because you're only
100%.
using gas or electric when you use the unit.
100%. As soon as you open that faucet, that computer tells the system that it's running. There's a flow sensor in there. When water starts flowing, it fires up the unit and brings it up to whatever burning capacity it needs for the demand of the water, of the hot water.
And one thing that I've seen over the years that I know should be done if you do install a tankless or even a tank hot water heater is if you have it down in your basement, you always want to put that centrally located. So in other words, what I'm saying is you don't want to put a tankless or a tank water heater, hot water heater, all the way down the far end, and all your bathrooms are all the way on the right side of your property, because now that water has to run a longer distance, right? Takes longer to heat up. If your tankless or hot water tank is located centrally located in your basement or crawl space, and you have a bathroom on the left side of the house, bathroom on the right side, it's running the same amount of distance. It's not going to have a longer run, which could take longer to heat up. Is that correct?
Once again, yes, but there's remedies to that too. You can install on a new construction what's called a circulating line.
Right.
A circulating line, especially with the tankless, they already come set up for circulating lines. So you install a circulating line, whereas the water will be kept at 120 degrees, even at the farthest point of the house. So the system knows what to do, and it constantly draws, and it's still more efficient on a tankless than it is on a tank water heater.
And then on a tankless, isn't it more efficient to adjust the temperature to whatever you want? It's like, push of a button, and you could actually raise the temperature, lower the temperature, wherever you want.
Oh, it's
There's-
easy. Yeah,
right
sure,
on the face of it. There's a
sure.
there's a temperature gauge,
correct. There's a computer screen or
which makes that
right
nice. That
there.
makes it nice because you
Sure.
can actually, put the temperature of the water, set it wherever you want it. So if you have about them getting burned, that they turn it all the way up. If you like hot showers, you can turn it up higher. I just think the tank
Can you
is
do that
more.
remotely though?
Oh, I believe it or not, yes, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Yes, you can. Now,
They do have
and
remote.
I'm not going to check from Navien, but I'm going to mention I'm a third stage, I'm a third level Navien installer. I went to
I
school
love
for this.
Navien.
I went to school for this area here in South Jersey. Navien's big.
Navien's best.
Tankless water heaters, in my opinion, their tech support is second to none.
Yeah.
So if you heard me, Navien, you can send me a check. So with that being said, now at the last class that I went to, they were showing us the new products, and one of the new products is the Wi-Fi connected tankless water heater, and you're able to do things from your phone and an app and control the water heater and also check its status. How it's firing, how everything's working out through your computer, through your app, smartphone.
So basically, what you're saying is the tankless is probably the better way to go now.
Absolutely. And another reason I will say this is because I learned firsthand. I had an electric water heater in my house for probably the first 15 years of me owning it,
Right.
and I was just a lazy plumber. Just didn't want to replace it. It was working fine. Well, when we had visitors, sometimes we ran out of hot water. It was a 40-gallon electric, and because of a mistaken sizing that on one job that I did for a friend, I put a small tankless or a smaller tankless in a bigger house, and it was just an oversight on the purchase, and he wasn't getting enough hot water with this tankless, so I had to swap it out. So I bought him the bigger one, installed that. He's happy. Now I have this tankless that I took out of his house. What do I do with it?
That's a good
Put
point.
it in my house.
Put it in your house.
So that's actually a good point. So what I would say is if you let the plumber know,
So you can size it right.
so you can size it.
Very good question.
Very good question. Yes. You need, well, once again, and that's why you hire a professional. He's responsible for that. Because my buddy that I did that tankless for, he didn't pay a nickel for me to swap it out.
Oh wow.
So you get a handyman and he screws it up, you think he's going to put out another $1,000 to buy that water heater and replace it?
Absolutely not.
And then he's going to eat the cost of the other one? I don't think so.
So can you let the consumers know how could they get a hold of you?
Oh, I'm on Google Business, is it? Or Google, I don't know, Google Business, I think it is.
And what's your phone number?
PLS Mechanical at 609-576-9552. And we're central, we're located in the South Jersey, Atlantic County area, but I'll travel depending on if the price is right and you want to pay me. I've gone as far as Paramus.
Pablo, PLS, he does all the work for Galaxy Construction and Jersey Boys. And we basically cover the whole state of New Jersey, and we go into Pennsylvania. So he basically goes wherever we need him. So he's going from Cape May to Paramus, and up into Pennsylvania, up into Aston, Reading. So he has and will go anywhere.
And
for
we're
a job.
licensed and insured, and we do commercial as well.
Are you licensed in PA too?
No,
You're
no,
licensed in
no.
Jersey.
We're licensed in Jersey.
Okay. But if you got a job in Pennsylvania,
We have partners that
that
we can work
partner,
with.
yeah, partner
Yeah,
up
that we
somebody.
can work with over there.
And then if you have a hard time getting a hold of you, they can always reach out to us and we will
Yes,
get you
yes.
connected with us. We appreciate you coming, and
Thank you for having
Well,
me.
Frank, is there any other questions you have for Pablo?
I think we covered everything.
Let me see. I think I have a couple more questions for him.
No.
Now, I want to ask. I have one more question I had to ask you. As far as the expense between a tankless Navion and a water tank.
Tank water
What's
heater.
the price difference? I know a lot of people ask me that.
Upfront price difference is huge on on the tank water heater, the standard tank 40-gallon gas,
Right.
as opposed to the install of a tankless. Now, with that being said, your savings in the long run, the tankless will pay for itself.
Right.
You will save fuel, you will save gas.
So you're going to
yeah,
save electric,
You're
you're
gonna
going to
save
save
electric.
gas.
and you'll never run out of hot water if it's sized properly.
And-
That's another thing I
and-
forgot to mention when I put it in my house.
Right.
I was talking about the electric where I ran out of hot water. We don't run out of hot water now, ever.
Now let me ask you another question. As far as the tankless, do they have to be cleaned every so often?
Yes, according to the
And what's-
manufacturer's
what's that?
specs,
What's that?
it's
contain?
it's every year it's supposed to be.
Right.
Now, you can be a little flexible on that depending on the type of water you have. If you have a public water system that's cleaner, it's
Right.
treated.
Straight.
You don't build up as much scale with that type of water system if you have public water. But if you have well water and you have hard well water, you should either have a filter on it going prior to going into the system, or you need to service that every year.
Now with them tankless water heaters, the condensation line that has to be vented. That has to be.
No, you could just put a neutralizer on it and run it into a
Do
waste
you run
line
that into a waste line, or
Yeah.
you run it outside?
or outside. But if
Either one.
condensate water is very, very dangerous. So you have to put a neutralizer on.
Okay, so once you put the neutralizer on it, can you run it in? You can't run it in the house at all. Like if it's a crawl space, you can't run it there. You got to run it outside, right?
Run it outside, or like I said, into the sewers.
Into the source of it. Okay. And as far as how long did them tankless last?
Oh
What they-
wow!
how many years you got?
I mean, the warranty on the heat exchanger, which is the main component,
Right,
is 10 years.
10 years.
But I've had 2012 Superstorm Sandy.
Right.
I've installed a lot of tankless
A
water
lot.
heaters. That's where we really started to professionalize ourselves. And we're talking, what's that now? 14 years?
14 years.
14 years ago.
Wow.
And they're still going strong.
And and there's another. Here's another area with hot water tanks. If you have water that's really coarse, like in other words, well water, doesn't that really eat the bottom out of the tank faster than if
Well,
you have like
it-
city water?
It depends on how old the tank is, because now they have hydrojet tanks. Bradford White has a tank that circulates the water from underneath and moves it around, so it doesn't really build up scale. But yes, there are waters. Wells that have very hard water, lots of iron in them, and they will tear up your pipes. They
They'll
will
tear your
tear up your
pipes.
water. They will tear it up. Yes.
So let me ask you another question. Say we're doing a rehab, because I run into this a lot. We're doing a rehab and we're tearing everything down to the studs. If there is copper in the house or there is cast iron in the house, do we remove it? I mean, is it code to remove that stuff and put on new PVC, for the drain, or the copper? If the copper is in good shape, but say it's old, like 40, 50, 60 years old, do you take that out and just run all new PEX? What happens with
Once
that?
again, it all depends on the construction budget, number one, and number two, the condition of the pipes. If the professional's looking at it and he's saying, this, for instance, I always recommend 4-inch cast iron stacks inside a wall. We got that wall open, that's coming out.
That's coming out.
I never leave that type of stack, and I'll tell you why.
And what do you replace
I've
it?
recommended it at ABS or PVC,
Okay.
either one.
3-inch, 4-inch?
Well, it depends on what's being drained and what's being vented. So you have to size it accordingly, depending on what's there. So generally, we would put 4-inch back because we have 2 bathrooms upstairs. The vent is 4-inch. We try to leave it the same. Not a hard thing to do, but once again, somebody that knows what they're doing, so you don't have any. Because once you close up that wall and water's running through it,
You're done.
you're done.
And I have another question for you, Pablo.
Sure.
I see this a lot with the consumer. They try to install their own faucet on the sink or in the bathroom. The biggest thing I see all the time, you tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you install the faucet, if you don't put the seal on, when you install on top of your vanity top or your sink, in the granite, you don't put the seal on, if the seal's not put in correctly, you're gonna have a leak. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So what do you,
And which seal are you talking about? The one at the base of the faucet
I'm talking
itself?
about the base, yes.
Yeah. Well, they're only going to have a leak there if water splashed on top of the faucet itself.
Right.
Um, in some cases, you have to replace for it's just a lab sink, the drain as well, and you have to be careful and make sure that you put that seal that properly. If that's not done properly, and with all the new products out there, the custom faucets that people have now, and all these different types of drains. Even as professionals that do it every day, we run into problems where we install it and think it's still leaking.
Right.
So I can't imagine, where a home could be too comfortable doing that. If you do it, you might have to. It may take you longer, but make sure it doesn't leak.
And we're gonna start something every week. It's called Toolbox Tip. And this week our toolbox tip is gonna be Pablo. A lot of customers, they really, I see them going towards the faucet in the sink, where the faucet turns different colors, the LED.
Oh,
So the temperature of the water, when you turn on your faucet, the water could be, if it's hot, it'll be red. If it's cold, it'll be blue.
yes.
If it's lukewarm, it's green. What's the advantage of them having that type of faucet in their sink, or even in the bathroom faucets, or even in the shower stall with with a rainbow shower? What's the
Well, the
advantages of
The
having
obvious one is they won't get burnt.
Right.
Now,
that?
that's really the main thing.
But do
It
they?
looks nice.
But do they last them? Does the lights
That's still to
burn
be
out?
determined because that's just a new product that's just come out in the last few years. So it's hard to tell yet.
But it's a very good option.
It's a cool option. It's not a necessary option.
But it
It's-
does give you a
yeah.
heads up on
On
when you
the
turn your
temperature,
water
yeah.
on,
Oh,
you know
sure.
exactly what temperature
Sure.
your sink is
It's
or your shower stall. So if you are putting in a sink, a vanity, or a shower stall, you might want to ask your plumber to get you a faucet that's LED. That gives you the colors of the temperature of the water. That's our toolbox tip of the day. Frank, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so actually, what I wanted to say is that next Saturday, I want to make this announcement. It's from 11 to 2 at Capri's Pizza in Northfield. We are going to do free water ice, free pretzels, and one slice of pizza. Meet the contractors. Okay, we're actually going to be starting the podcast. It's actually going to be at 11 o'clock. Okay, till 12:30, and then the free pizza and the water ice and the pretzels till 2 o'clock, 11 to 2.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you guys, come on down.
Come on
We're
down.
gonna have water ice for you
Bring your
guys,
kids.
pretzels. You guys get a slice of pizza for free on the house from 11 to 2. Rocco, love to see you guys. Come on down. Rocco's got the best food around. I mean, hands down. He's straight from Naples, Italy. He was born and raised in Italy, and that's where he learned how to cook. His food is very good. So come on down. And after our podcast, if there's any questions you guys want to ask us, we're here. We'll field some questions. We're always available.
Is
Frank
it
and
me or
I
you
and
didn't give
Pablo.
me the address yet of this place.
Oh no,
Did you give me the address?
yeah, Frank. The address is 900 Tilton Road, Northfield, New Jersey.
The most
that's
important
it.
part. Sorry about that. We also have T-shirts that we just came out with, and we'll be having mugs, so you can come and purchase them if you like to.
Also, it's going to be on
Next
our website.
On our website, we'll be having that out. Like I said, we're only on episode 2, so a lot of exciting things are going to happen with Galaxy Instruction and Jersey Boys, and our special guests that we'll be having every week. It's going to be tune in because it's going to start getting really good now.
Yeah, we're getting more. We're covering more larger scope of the construction every week. We're going to add more to it and try to bring more valuable information to you guys as consumers, so you guys are educated in all aspects of the construction field. Anything else you want to add, Frank?
That's it.
Pablo, anything you want to add?
Thank you
That's
for
it.
coming.
Have
and,
a good 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
Until next time.
thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next Saturday.
Take care, guys.